Welcome back. The Bhavan Vivekananda College Entrepreneur Development Cell is back with yet another episode of Entreverse. I, Rupangana Roy, and along with me, Khushi Bhansali, are the hosts for today. We are honored to have with us the founder, CEO, Event Beep, co-founder Mentor Box, Global Students Awards winner, TEDx speaker, star participant of Shark Tank, Mr. Saurabh Mangrulkar. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Rupangana.
Interviewing someone we saw on the other side of the screen is an absolute privilege. Sir, we appreciate your presence here with us today. To begin with, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in entrepreneurship?
Okay, so my background, I am a startup founder. And how did I start with entrepreneurship? When I was really young, 14, 15, I started an NGO, worked for a couple of years there, started my own events firm before even entering college. That's how I think started with a problem primarily. Also because my parents were in business before, so I had a good exposure before. So yeah, that's what led me to start into entrepreneurship.
That's really good to know, sir.
Moving on to the next question, sir. What was your key driving force to become an entrepreneur?
Key driving force. यार ऐसे तो as such, so when I initially had started, it was around the skill set that I had. Initially, my mom was a computer engineer. She used to repair laptops and computers, so did I. When I was 11, 12, I started repairing computers, laptops, and the neighbors used to call me to sort of repair their devices. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's when it started initially. All the entire societies and neighborhood used to call me for repairs, and that's when I started earning money, and I found it pretty exciting. So I think that was the motivation, again, solving a core issue which people have, and then the reward that you get. So that was primarily the driving force.
Oh, so Vahas, you got the inspiration that you want to do something on your own at a very certain age, like 14, 15 years.
So I had like a vision that in future I would. I didn't think that I will do for sure from right now. We just saw the opportunity, what exists, and then the businesses sort of started off. I initially wanted to do an MBA from either Stanford or Harvard uh, before I when I graduate, but
Okay.
I think the opportunities came. The big problems of Indian education system was pretty big, so I thought, why not?
That's good to know, sir.
How did you come up with the name of your company?
It was very simple. The idea was that we want to get students out of college. We want them to go out and actually explore the practical world as opposed to the donkey theoretical work which happens on a day-to-day basis. So idea was कि बाहर निकलो, and we had launched an app which will notify students whenever there's a new event. So event beep is the tone of notification. So that's how we came up with the name Event Beep, and it was the only domain available out of all the names that we had decided. So yes,
It turned out to be really creative.
yeah. Eventually, I think one thing that you need to understand is the name does not matter much as long as you build the brand around it. So initially, something as simple as pencil can become a big brand if you sort of scale that organization. So yeah, that sort of happens over time. So I think simplicity and something which resonates really matters when you decide a company name.
So, at the age when students are uncertain about which stream to choose and which pen to use during board exams, you have started to build a business of your own. So, what made you think of it and what inspired you to do that?
Again, I think what you need to understand is not. So I think I was very silent and I was very shy when I was in my eighth, ninth grade. and I was even scared to talk to my parents. But then I got hold of certain audiobooks, audiobooks in ninth grade, which said that, which drastically changed my life. It just put a thought inside me that, Saurabh, you can be anyone in the world that you want to be. You know, be it Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever you want, you can achieve if you just work as hard as they did and just do what they did. So that sort of was a seed of, I'm not going to settle for less. I can be whatever I want to, and I'm not going to live life ordinary. So what the other people are doing is what's make me uncomfortable. So that was the moment when I decided I am not going to do what the majority of population is doing. So yeah, that sort of, and I saw everyone is studying, so I knew I don't want to study, or to do something else other than what people are. So yeah, that was, and it was not that I'll build a startup so young. It was just about creating something different.
All of us think that way, sir, but there are only few like you who actually end up doing something so great, which is not so easy in the end of the day.
Yeah, one step at a time, it becomes easy, but yes, not easy at all. But it's just about taking that initiative every day to do something small. That's what it's sprouted to be.
Also, sir, at the Shark Tank episode, when you just walked in first, you started talking about the product. I mean, your idea, and you told that education system में दो ही चीज नहीं है. There's that is education and system, and that was actually true, and it was मतलब controversial and true as well. तो आपको ऐसे why did you think, what made you think that it was the fault or there was no educational system? I mean, all of us know the answer, but we want to know it from you, ki what was the fault in it, in the system and the education.
Right. So I think majorly it's around, so when I was in school, or I started very early, so I had seen the world from the other side, which is practical. I had built teams, organized events, festivals before even getting into college. The moment I got into college, I saw कि यार ये क्या donkey work चल रहा है. There is teacher explaining. They are giving you two books, एक assignment to copy and second a blank assignment book. So it was all donkey work. Just copy paste कर लो. ये रही assignment, ये रही book. So just copy paste, and that's what was happening for the entire 4 years of engineering. So I thought, and then I had students and friends who were amazing in arts, graphic design, and they were still doing electrical engineering. And the teachers forced them to, okay, this is something you have to do. 75% you have to do. Spend 90% of your time in your college, in spite your um, inspiration and passion is towards, let's say, designing. So that was a very forceful factory that was being run and is being run currently. So that's what led me that, students get out and see what the real world is what is sort of broken. There's no practical learning, it's just theoretical. Teachers try to go through the syllabus before the exam, no matter students understand it or not. And yeah, you just, any which way, student just study 3 to 4 days before the exam. So there is no learning that wise also. So yeah,
Yeah, true. I mean, I remember my class teacher telling you just eat it up and you vomit in the question. I mean, the answer sheet.
exactly.
I mean, also, so like before you got into this business field or something into the entrepreneur area, you had any other kind of dream that, okay, maybe I wanted to do this, or from the start, your mindset was that you wanted to do something on your own and you didn't want to be working under somebody?
नहीं ऐसा तो नहीं था कि I don't want to work under somebody, because I never had. And I think in terms of dream aspirations, I was pretty clear from something which I learned when I was in 10th standard, and which changed my life, was writing down goals. And everybody has aspirations, everybody has thought process that यार बड़ी गाड़ी चाहिए, बड़ा बंगला चाहिए, I we want to travel the world. That's a thought which anybody has, from a farmer to someone who's a laborer to a PhD person or a college student. So these thoughts, but these are just aspirations. These are mere aspirations. These are not goals. So I learned pretty early to how to convert them into goals. I used to write down in my book what is that I want to achieve. So that clarity of thought was there before even entering college. That let's say I want to go to Harvard, Stanford, build a business, then also sort of in terms of materialistic things, what would be my aspirations. So that clarity has been there since the start. The goal was always to be in the top 1 to 2% of the population. That was ideally the goal, and just be the best at whatever I do.
Abhi, I mean, you spoke about all the things that you wanted to be and everything. And then when finally you got to the destination, I wouldn't say Shark Tank was your final destination, but then that nervousness would be there, no, in front of the judges and when you had to pitch your idea. So can you like tell something about that at that very moment? How were you feeling? How were your partners feeling about you will the sharks? Just share your what was the feeling at that moment.
Pretty nervous. I mean, we were really fat gayi thi, just before entering. We were shivering. I तो had made up my mind. I told both the co-founders कि यार नहीं हो पाएगा. Time pass के लिए जाते हैं. We'll just have a good time. We'll have fun. Investment वो सब तो दूर की बात है. Let's just have fun and that's it. And yeah, we were very nervous. We had practiced for 8 to 10 times. And just before the presentation, our entire script and pitch got changed of what we are to be presented in the first 1 to 2 minutes. And they were like, you can't do this, or you won't be able to do this because this has been done already by someone else. And the entire pitch was scrapped, and we had to build again a new one just an hour before the pitch. So that made us even more nervous. But yeah, I have been watching Shark Tank for the past 10 years before even, attending this one, which is the US version. So I knew what exactly worked. But yeah, I think that experience there was really different. But also that since it was the first season, we didn't know sharks. We didn't know who is what and what are their expertise. So for us, it was a blank slate, but the entire cameras, so many people behind the cameras, at least 30 to 40 people were there behind the cameras, directors. So it's a really tough experience, but yeah, quite something that lasted forever.
It didn't look like that when you entered, sir. The Amitabh Bachchan, the
Correct. Yeah, so I remember. So there were you did have people who because we are yeah, we are just startup founders. There you had choreographers, there you had directors who had worked for Dance India Dance, couple of shows, TV shows, and they refined our pitch quite well. They said that you have to sound like Amitabh Bachchan. You are sounding like a dead kid when you're doing that dialogue. So make sure that you have a tone of voice. So they do direct you in terms of the confidence level that you need to carry. So yeah, the team sort of helped us to achieve that. But yeah, overall, it was a wonderful experience.
we totally know that you got the deal after all.
Exactly.
So as you mentioned, you've been watching Shark Tank since last 10 years. So this planning is going on since last 10 years that yes, I will do something no matter what.
हाँ यार प्लानिंग तो नहीं थी कि आज जाना ही I mean I had made that if I go into Shark Tank I'll have these wonderful numbers which will make every shark come into the company. So I knew what worked. I knew how exactly the entire situation happens, ready for all the questions that they throw at us. So yeah, I mean, I was all ready, but never expected that India version would come anytime soon, and that I would be pitching.
India is developing after all.
Yeah, for sure. They in fact asked this question during their audition also. Do you think it's the right time for Shark Tank India? Are are people ready for it? So yeah, they had like a good feedback sessions also from all the founders.
Entrepreneurship's obviously, it looks glamorous and it is obviously the talk of the town right now. But it is not so easy. So how do you manage your time efficiently in a day?
It is not glamorous at all. To outset, maybe it looks like one, especially because of Shark Tank. It has become glamorous. It is not 1 inch closer to glamour. It's hard work. You grind in and day out. You go through mental traumas from employees, team members. You have zero money left in your pockets. You have to invest the entire money to the company and the business. It is going to easily take away 10 years of your life for sure before you build anything substantial. So, really difficult. Managing time is all about priorities. There are fires burning everywhere. Someone has left, there is a new employee, investors' pressure, product pressure, mentors, networking, also creating content, making sure that you're helping people, talking to your customers. So there are hundreds of things at the same time. For some cases, you have to let those fire burn and only focus on the most important ones. One is your customers, students who are we catering to, product. Are we adding enough value? Then also comes revenue monetization. So I think it's more about prioritization. At the outset, very basic is number one, you need to focus on your customers. Second, you'll need to make sure that you are sustaining. That means you are getting revenues. And third, you're growing. These three should be at the core, and everything else is just fires burning. You need to let them burn.
That is really inspiring, and now we know how it is. It just looks glamorous from across the screen, and it is not in real life.
No, it's way, way far from glamorous. I mean, such hard work that you've never ever imagined or dreamt of. So, but yeah, what you need to understand is to make it fun. So we make it fun. I think every day for us, it's we're laughing. We're making sure that every journey it's a wonderful one. Whenever we feel like going on treks, adventures, sports, games, we do so. And what you also need to understand is if you go behind, that we want to, let's say, be successful or achieve those numbers and milestones, it is going to take a long time, but it is also going to take away a good part of your life. So you don't want to sacrifice on the time that you have right now. Make sure it's fun and you're working hard so that it's after all something which you have earned. So yeah, it'll be a wonderful journey. It's not about where do you reach. It's more about the journey.
Yeah, like people say. I mean, there is a song that ki खूब मंजिल से भी खूबसूरत the journeys. I can't remember the song. I mean, it is said that passion, if there is passion, people can do any amount of work under pressure. I mean, if there is something dedication towards it, and you do it anything to reach to that milestone.
In spite of all the hurdles that you just mentioned, sir, there must be something that makes you love entrepreneurship so much. So, what is your favorite aspect?
My favorite aspect is maybe three things. One is how much problems it solves, first, with the innovation. Second would be you get to do so many things. It's not just one thing. Every day you have some other thing to do. Third is as a business, you have your own space and time. You're not, let's say, bossed around by anyone. You can have your own time, you can have your own space, and also build a wonderful company. And yeah, the best part would be that the company functions without you being there in the picture. That's the whole idea of a business and a company that you should develop. So yeah, these are top three things that I feel really motivates me.
That is great motivation, sir. So, talking about the work culture now. So it is obviously really important the organization's work culture. So what kind of culture exists in your organization and how did you establish it?
It's been a mix of two things, and now we have a hybrid sort of work culture. So just so the I think when we started initially as college students, we were very indisciplined. We just used to make plans in terms of being okay with mediocre talent, being okay with non-performance, being okay with you take your own time to build or achieve any milestone that we have set for ourselves. Even if we don't hit targets or deadlines, it's okay. And we gave the space for freedom. If you have any idea, make sure that you do it. That was what our culture was initially, wherein we let people be okay, which also hampered the growth. Was very stagnant for a long period of time. Second, then once we raised investment, we hired some senior people. Once we hired people from corporates, we hired people from experienced startups. It became very strict. It became like a corporate sort of culture wherein this is when you have to come. This is when you have to do. Meet your targets, or else you'll be fired. It became that sort of a culture wherein it became really non acceptable in terms of if you don't meet your deadlines. And now what we have a beautiful culture in terms of it's a mix of both. You have a freedom to do whatever you want. There's a flexibility in terms of timings. There's a pressure that this is something you'll have to do, and there's a pressure of if you don't at least live up to standards, we'll consider you, but you need to make sure that you make up for it. So it's a mix of both. In terms of culture, we love working because the kind of laughs that we have on a daily basis, we will just want to come to the office every day. That's sort of setting that we have built as of now. And I think what you need to understand is people, three aspects. I think what you should give first is the freedom that whatever they want to do. Second is growth. They need to have the team need to understand that they're growing every single day. And third is the flexibility in terms of the working from home office, the timings. That's something that we have given. So these three aspects is where we focus on.
Seeing people double your age working for you, how is that feeling, sir?
So again, as a part of our culture, we don't take it as working for me. What we see it as a working together. This is what we need to achieve. This is what, and for me and us, it's all about we're all on the same level. Nobody is senior to anybody. Each one has their own journeys, and each one deserves respect. So uh, again, when they see this is this sort of culture, no matter if it's a senior or a junior, they are at the same level, and they feel that they have that respect in terms of their experience and their freedom. So for me, in terms of it's a win-win for us. I need to have people who are better than me into the team. That's where I am actually building a company, or else it's just us playing catch up. If I have people who are less better than me.
That is not something we hear every day, and it is really an inspiring factor.
Also, when you said that there should be fun and laughter and everything, as everybody says that laughter is a therapy. So maybe while working itself, there is a therapy going on while you're working and you're laughing and you're having fun and you're also doing something productive.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you define success? Like Abhi, you've told that all this there is fun and there's work culture and everything. So how is the success defined amongst all of this?
Success, I think whenever you achieve something that you've set out to do is success, no matter if it's milestones, if it's your customers. For us, success is more about students finding good opportunities and excelling in their career. When we build Eventbee, making sure that from the time they join the platform to the time they leave the platform, they are at least 10x version of themselves. So for us, that is, growth, and for us, that is success. But in terms of us, I think whatever you set out to do and you completed, that's success for us.
Maybe students you might have all over India and everything, no? So students maybe in around your family, are there students that use the Event Peep app?
Yes, there are from our personal doctors, watchmen's kids to family members to neighbors. We have people and audiences who actively use the platform.
So, do you believe that there is some sort of pattern or a formula to become a successful entrepreneur, as you mentioned?
I think it's more about hard work and timing. So you grind, you make sure. So hard work beats any passion or talent. So I think that is your simple, most easiest formula for success, which is hard work. And second would be timing, making sure that you are at a time wherein no matter if it's a startup, if it's, let's suppose, doing an MBA from which college, that's something which is basic.
There is always this question arising that if you're hardworking, you can beat talent. What do you think on this? Is hardworking more or having talent is more?
Hard work always. I mean, just to give a perspective, let's suppose, I wasn't someone who was firstly good as a public speaker. In terms of if you look at my natural talent, I was not at all good talking to people. I wasn't good with business. All of it is something that I've learned through hard work, sheer practice each and every day. I was not naturally good at any of those skills that I possess today. So yeah, that shows a good indication of how hard work beats natural talent.
So, you are a clear example of that.
Maybe I don't know I'm successful or not.
So, but there must be some point when you must have been like, yes, I have achieved something in life. Ab to ho hi gaya hai. So, was there any point, and if yes, when was the time you actually felt it?
नहीं नहीं अभी तो picture बाकी है. I mean now I'm just getting started. The company is getting started. So for me it's more about क्या रोज मजे करो, be happy, have fun, and grow. That's for me the only determinant of success. है वैसे बहुत सारी चीज़ें, world tour, um, a lot of things, more than 50, 60 businesses and ventures that I can start. So there's a lot of things, but yeah, I'm just getting started.
How Abhi, just the current startup that you have, up to on a scale of 10 on, I mean, how would you explain the startup in maybe fit in a 10-year-old, आगे चल के 10 साल आगे, how would you explain your startup?
A college on your phone, a digital college, is how I would explain.
But don't you think some sort of networking or communication in real life is important?
हाँ तो communication तो हो रहा है ना. For example, on the platform you have events, audio rooms, video rooms. You actually have college fests that are listed, which you can actually go and attend. So all of it is there on the platform.
That is really innovative, sir. There must be some part of your life experience that you would want to alter. So, if you had a chance to do that, what would it be?
Alter. ऐसे तो कुछ नहीं यार. I think I did and I lived everything from playing PUBG to everything to bunking college, going for a trip, Goa trip, random trips, lying to parents, living the college life, living the startup life as a college student. Maybe I could have started a bit more earlier. Is something which could have been, I think, something I would change. Apart from that, nothing.
Starting early, when you started at the age of 14, sir, what early than this do you expect?
I mean, understanding business is a bit earlier. I think I could have come way ahead from what I am now. So, but yeah, I think no regrets as such. I think loving what we are doing and what we've been doing so far.
So, what piece of advice would you give to college graduates like us?
Yeah, so मेरे हिसाब से तो कॉलेज छोड़ दो, ठीक है, bunk your entire classes, and I would suggest that you start doing something apart from college, which is internships, jobs, start your own project or startup in your college, even if you're a first year student. If you've just graduated, I would suggest you working in a good, well funded startup initially, and then sort of starting your own venture. In terms of yeah, what I would suggest a college student is, yeah, there are two aspects. One is, you bunk your college, but then what do you do bunking your college? That's where the difference lies. Do you sit with your friends and gossip for the entire day, or do you actually go out there and build something and then also gossip, but then about building something, achieving something, innovating on something? So these are two aspects that you need to think, and give yourself time to have fun as well, which is going for trips, going for vacations with your friends as well when time comes. But wasting your entire 4 years sitting at the same place every day gossiping is something which would not help you in future. These are the prime years of your life. Whatever you do right now is going to set you ahead in terms of career and you being happy eventually. So yeah, get started. Don't just sit and gossip. Start doing something. Start building something, and then gossip about building those things. I think that will help you much more than people.
Sir, how would you explain your company to a 10-year-old?
Again, I think same, uh, which is we're building like a digital college, which is more fun. It is what we would tell them.
But don't you think that physical presence is required at the end of the day? You just can't sit in front of the screen all day.
No, so it's more like a social platform, right? It's not just about so let's suppose when you meet people on Instagram, Facebook, you also eventually end up meeting them. So it's similar, you can find friends, people from other campuses onto the platform, which is more like a network, and then you can connect with them offline. So we're not taking away the physical presence of it. In fact, you'll have much more fun because there are more events that are focused on your own passions. If you love, let's say, coding, there are meetups which happen for developers. There are meetups which happen for different audience. So it's not like substitute for physical college. It's more like another level of education and communication tool for students.
So, what different are you doing in your company as a digital college, which would improve
So
or
starters, I think we start off with work directly. You start doing an internship, you start doing a workshop or a project as you start. Second, you are directly added to your interest group. So let's suppose you love designing or you love, let's say, coding. You are matched with students who love coding as well. Then you are matched with mentors who can help you teach coding, and it also opens up at least 100 more aspirations for you. It could be VC, you can be an investment analyst in a VC firm. All these mentors give sessions about how industry actually is. So it starts with the real world experience altogether rather than the theoretical syllabus which students go through. And then comes the opportunities from brands for jobs directly that you want to based on your passion and your interest.
so can't we like do it as a side thing? People are trying to level up their skill, even though if talking about me as a college student, I always look forward to learn some of the other skill my brother suggests. That learn some skill every 3 months. You should have one new skill in your resume, or just to empower yourself that yes, I know this, and I know this. So, do you think Event Beep can be a side course as well?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it's just like how you use Facebook or Instagram, and that's how you typically use it. Not like a completely new degree, but something which can upskill you immediately as you grow.
Okay, so this is a magical question, you can say. If you have a magical wand, what are the three things you would change in the world in any aspect?
Change in the world. So I think world का तो पता नहीं, but yeah, I think three aspects that I myself want to contribute in. Number one would be cleanliness, especially in India, in terms of how I should contribute to make India more cleaner and more beautiful. Second would be around space exploration. I would love to sort of contribute and start a venture into space exploration, discovering possibilities. Could be asteroid minings to actually finding an alternative planet for living. And third would be, I think, around my passion, which is sports, making India much ahead in sports, the sports infrastructure, startups around sports tech. So these are three areas that I would want to contribute in the future, apart from education now, the vision that we have set out to.
Cleanliness is really important in India. When we go to other countries, we see the difference. It is clearly visible to our eyes. So, how do you deal with competition, sir? You must have a lot of competitors, right?
I don't deal in competition. I mean, there is no point in dealing. We don't face as such. I mean, the market is so huge. As such, we don't see a pinch in terms of our market share is being eaten away. So that's not something that we're facing yet. So right now, we're just building what students love and just focusing there.
If you had a fictional character as a business partner, who do you think would it be? It could be anybody from a movie or from a series.
Fictional character, I would say Doraemon. With tools he can, bring in, I think we'll be successful much faster.
Uh, that is really creative, sir.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
using time machine, I will go to the future, see which stock is the best, and invest all the money in that stock, which overnight.
How would you sum up Event Beep?
Sum up Evenly. I mean, the journey or the
The
platform.
journey, your journey.
Yeah, I think wonderful has been a really important part of my life. And just like a baby, I think जिससे बच्चा हो गया तो उसको बड़ा करना. It's been emotional, hard work, lot of efforts, fun, um, just like how a baby is. And now thoda sa bada ho gaya hai, but no, I think couple of years is what it'll take, and then it will be on its own. Is what I would summarize it. And yeah,
So there's one more question that I had in mind. Can you tell how important are the clubs and cells in the college?
really important. I think you should take all the advantage. These clubs get you to meet more people. They also get you to more meet mentors, um, founders just like me. And yeah, with that, I think you can build your network, grow it, and your network is what is going to matter eventually when you are done with college. These are the people who can help you tomorrow. You can ask me, Saurabh, I would need help in this, and I think that's something which these people would help you to achieve. So yeah, it's more like a good leverage for you in your life. I think you should be involved in as many as possible the college clubs.
And how do you think that the educational system can support the multitasking and diversity of interests that are common among today's college students?
I think empower those clubs, invest more money and energy into these clubs and infrastructure. A lot of colleges feel those events and clubs are dead, but that's where the entire efforts need to go into. Larger fests and events need to be prepared. The focus should be more on getting these mentors people who are actually working in the industry more than the teachers themselves. Teachers should be the one responsible for finding the talent, finding their passions of students, understanding what their strengths are, and then directing them in the right direction in spite of what degree or domain you've chosen. So that should be the agenda for a college more if they want to, have amazing leaders come out of their institutes. That's what the focus should be on.
A segment that our entrepreneur development cell has taken up, which is called Shivaji Kehte Hain. So we tell a quote, Shivaji Kehte. I'll just tell Shivaji Kehte Hain, and you can just respond to it with your favorite quote or a favorite line that you are inspired by.
Okay.
Okay. तो शिवाजी कहते हैं,
सब मोह माया है.
it is really great to talk to you, sir. It just didn't feel like an hour already passed.
अच्छा हो गया क्या? Oh, same. So then it was great to talk to you also, Kushi and Rupangana.
So, thank you for listening to the episode of the Entreverse. We hope you found Mr. Saurabh Mangrulkar's story inspiring and informative. One of the key takeaways from our conversation with Saurabh Mangrulkar is the importance of perseverance and resilience in the face of challenges. Starting a business is never easy, but with hard work, determination, and a willingness to learn from mistakes, success is possible. Finally, a big thanks to you, sir, for joining us today and sharing your journey and insights with us. We're really glad to have you here. Hope you enjoyed this episode and do not forget to share and subscribe to Entreverse to hear more inspiring stories from successful entrepreneurs. Thank you for tuning in with us today. We will see you next time.